Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Can we believe that it's June already? Like the year is halfway over. It's so crazy. Which also means we're halfway through journaling for the year. Today I wanted to do kind of a little journal check-in to see how we're all feeling about our journals. I'll show you where I'm at with my 4 journals and we'll see if we want to keep things, we'll see if we want to switch things out, we'll see if we want to try new things, and we'll just hang out. My hope, if anything, is that this video gets you thinking about your journaling and how well it's working for you. I'll show you how I'm doing things and maybe it'll also inspire you for the next 6 months of journaling. Okay, let's just get into it. Okay, so here I have with me my 4 journals from this year so far. From most to least use, we're going to start here with our hobonichi techo, which I use every day for memory keeping. And then I have my plotter mini. I have this open on my desk at all times for event tracking, my calendar, very practical. And then I have my passport traveler's notebook, which I attempted to use for commonplacing. We'll talk more about that. And then I have my standard traveler's notebook in the Kyoto edition that I use for my junk journaling. Let's clear this out and we'll go through each one at a time. Starting with my hobonichi techo. I've had it in this cover all year. I felt no need to take it out of here. I usually have my watercolor palette tucked in here so I can have it at hand if I need it. Super convenient and it protects my journal super well. I also love that it holds my pen, super handy, and I have a Polaroid clipped in here. Let's take a peek in how I'm doing. The front pages here were meant to be just kind of like a one-liner snapshot of my day. I did a pretty good job at the beginning. It definitely died off mid-April here. I'm sure I'll do a catch-up so I can get back into June. But yeah, it's kind of nice to be able to see it. I just forget to do this on a daily basis. My monthly views are looking a little sad, honestly. I do have our tiny stickers here that I think are super cute, but I just haven't really marked my days in this calendar. I think because I mostly do it in my plotter. My plotter is my go-to for my day-to-day. So all my events are in there typically. So yeah, this part has died off. I don't think I feel too bad about it, but yeah, I think there's some good decorating opportunities in here. It could look really cute. The real star for me are the daily pages. As a general overview, I write in this book using a fountain pen. My current go-to is my Pilot Custom 823, but I've also used a couple other pens in this book, including my 2 Pilot Decimos, which I also love. I'm actually really happy with how this is going so far. I've pretty much filled every single page. And all of them make me happy to look at. Sometimes they have ephemera, most of the times they just have printed out photos. I might have food labels. I have stickers, watercolor. I really like these sparkle stickers that I made out of vinyl. I put washi tape in. Yeah, I feel like I'm actually really loving my hobonichi workflow so far this year. I've talked about this several times in my other videos, but check out where I talk about how I put photos in, because I think that's really what brings my pages to life. This was a fun one. This is when I went to Toronto and I had AJ do a spread for our day. So this is a special one. It's just really nice to look back at my memories throughout the year. My goal was to write in this every single day. I typically do it in the evening, right before I go to bed. Some days, not gonna lie, I will miss it, and so I'll usually try to go a maximum of 30 days that I miss before I catch up. I really don't like the feeling of being super behind. I think there were only a couple pages that I actually missed. And so this was one of them, April 3rd. And so instead of trying to remember what I did that day, I did a little watercolor of an orchid that sits in our living room. Very spring themed. My entries are not anything crazy. It's often me just writing about what I do during the day. I just like to remember this stuff. I don't know. It's so easy for me to forget what happens, what I do on a day-to-day basis. And so it's been really nice to journal about this. I love doing these little photo strips when I have a bigger eventful day. I even like putting stuff like when I call my grandpa, do a screenshot of our phone call. I love doing cutouts of my food, as you know if you saw my other video. We did a sticker every day in April. It's just really nice to be able to flip through and remember what I did. It's really these days where you can tell that they're packed with photos that we went on an adventure of some sort. This was one of the other days that I missed. I'm gonna have to do a watercolor here. I think this year compared to last year, I'm doing a lot better of a job doing decoration. So using stickers and washi and doing these cutouts, they just make such a big difference. These are the stickers that I've been using most recently, and no bias, but these are stickers that we are designing for our Nook and shop release. And honestly, they have been so good. We're trying to design a large variety of themes so that we always have something that we can use. Pretty much every day I'm able to use something relevant to that day, whether it's work related or we went shopping or exercise or reading. Reading is something that I'm getting back into, which I've been loving so far. So just having such a huge variety of stickers to use just add a little spark to my spreads for me. Stay tuned for our shop lunch. This year I haven't really done anything with this opening spread. I just find that the time passes so quickly that I end up not having time to fill this out. And I don't know exactly what I want to do there, but I'll have a think and maybe I'll start filling these ones out. I also like putting books in that I'm reading or shows that I'm watching. Phone calls with friends, stickers. I'm so happy with how this is going. I don't know about you, but it feels like time flies. And so just being able to flip through and look back at the different days and remember, oh yeah, you know, we did that thing. We played that game. We went to that place. We watched that show. I think it's so cool. So this is something that I'm definitely going to continue doing throughout the rest of the year. I think what I want to try doing a little bit differently is maybe change up the writing a little bit. There are journal prompts that are available online that I feel like could pull more emotion out of me instead of just kind of the day-to-day. I do appreciate the day-to-day just because I want to remember those things that I did, but I think in some occasions when I'm having a quieter day or a less eventful month, it's nice to just be able to reflect within myself and reflect on how I'm feeling or think about goals, stuff like that. So yeah, I'm definitely going to continue doing this. It's kind of cool because you can see this part is pretty thick now, but I'm really happy with how this is going. I don't think there are any real pain points for me in this journal so far. I haven't really been filling out these kind of to-do lists at the top. They're mostly empty. I also ignore this kind of timeline on the left here. So I very much use this as memory keeping, and I find that it's the perfect size. I love the Toma River paper. I think I want to play more with my pens and try different inks, so maybe I will see a little bit more variety in my writing for the rest of the year. I also don't want to be that person that forces myself to journal, and you know, it's just another task on my list, and I really feel like this journal in particular, like I want to do it. This is something where I know that I will look back on this and be really thankful that I put the time in. And I don't know, just getting these photos off my phone, I think it's so huge. Even if it's just mundane, like hanging out, a lot of dog pictures. Even just us playing games. I would really recommend memory keeping if you're not already doing it. Something that I haven't really been good at using are the stickers in this book for whatever reason. I feel like I like really practical stickers, and so these Nook End stickers are actually really, I mean, we designed them because we know what we want, but they are very like purposeful. So, you know, I'm reading a book, or I am experiencing an emotion, or I'm doing a chore, or I'm traveling, or I'm journaling, or I'm celebrating. There's always something that is on theme for me to use. I find it really easy to pull from these. These ones I feel less so. They're so cute to look at. And so I think I'm still facing some sticker anxiety here because I can't remake these. I can remake those. So there's that feeling for me, I think. I love Howl's Moving Castle. I love Spirited Away, but when am I going to use this in my journal? It's just for decoration, I guess. I don't know. I'm struggling a little bit to decide how to use these. Maybe I need to try a little harder and say, I will put one sticker on each spread. Something like that. They're so cute and I really want to use them, but there's something holding me back. I have done a better job at using things like washi tape. I really like these really slim rolls. These are 5mm, and I think these might be 8mm. They're just really easy to stick in my journal. These were the sparkle ones I was talking about that I cut out of vinyl. Super easy, super handy, and applicable to pretty much anything. I also like these little stamps that I have. It's really easy to just add a little pop of color onto the page. So I'm going to keep doing this for sure. Yeah, so that was my hobonichi. I'm really excited to see this fill out through the rest of the year. Yay! Let's move on to my plotter. So my plotter is something that I really wanted when I went to Japan, largely because it was a lot cheaper for me to pick up in Japan versus in the US because they're made in Japan. They're just so beautiful. Like the detailing in this bar, this leather is just so well done, and they have all these accessories that just make it such a nice system to use. Now, I also got their weekly inserts here that I use. I just kind of wanted to try it and see if it's something that would work well for me. What I try to do with this system is the left side would be work-related, events, deadlines, stuff like that, hanging out with friends, appointments, stuff like that. And then my right side was going to be reserved for Nook End stuff. And so drafting reels, publishing content. It kind of got blended throughout. It seems like I don't exactly know which should go on which side, and I kind of forget. There's also these icons and timelines through the whole spread, which I don't really understand how to best use. So I don't think I will be getting the same layout for next year, but I do like that this just sits open on my desk. Most of these are things I need to do or events that I need to go to, so I typically go in afterwards and check them off, or I use an arrow if I postpone something. Yeah, so I usually have this pen holder on my desk, and this rail right here is perfect for my journal. So it usually sits like this on my desk where I can see it and have a constant reminder of what I need to do, what events are coming up. So this is super handy. I usually have the current week bookmarked like this so I can plan accordingly. But yeah, I don't think I will use the same layout next year. I think what I want to do is design a more personalized spread that is more custom to me, and I'll think more about that when the time comes. But yeah, this paper is really nice, but the system itself is a little bit confusing and I'm not sure exactly how to use it. It is very pretty though. I also just have blank grid paper at the back here that I use when I need to take notes or anything like that. So yeah, this is very much a practical thing for me. I don't carry it around in my bag with me or anything. It just stays open on my desk. One of the things that I really like about the plotter is that the rings are really small. I think they're 11 millimeters or so. As a left-handed person, I always have these memories of using binders with the 1-inch rings and just not being able to do anything. So it's really nice that this is so slim and compact, because really I only need 6 months or so in here at a time, and I'll soon switch this out for the rest of the year. So yeah, this is something that will always, I think, be relevant to me. Even though I have all my events in my digital calendar, it's really nice to have this kind of physical reminder of things in front of me at all times. I do feel like I can really optimize this experience for me personally and just kind of tailor it to my own life. I'm treating this kind of as a trial period to see how exactly I want to use this and how I can benefit from it. So I'm learning, and I'll be able to design ideal inserts for me next year. So that's my plotter. The third one on the list is my Passport Traveler's Notebook that my friend got from me on the way home from Japan. This is a special edition Traveler's Factory Airport from the Narita Airport. My goal with this book was to try commonplacing, and I've watched so many videos on YouTube about commonplacing and the benefits and why it's so good. Of course, not everything works for everyone, and I'll tell you my journey through commonplacing. So typically I have this pen hooked onto this pen loop here. I think one of the things about commonplacing is that you should carry around your commonplace journal all the time. This alone was a struggle for me in that I'm a very lightweight person. I hardly like to carry anything, and so having something else to think about was hard for me. And so I didn't have this on me a lot of the time. And I think that's what contributed to my lack of commonplacing. Inside I have some pictures. Just to personalize it, I like to be able to open my journal and be like, yep, this is mine. And so inside I have this one little notebook, and at the back I have just some sticker paper. The idea here was that if I had this with me on the go and I had some ephemera that I wanted to keep, but it's sticky, I can easily stick it in here. And I did use it a couple times. So I would recommend, if you're a commonplacer or somebody who carries their journal with them, it's super handy just to have a few sheets of sticker paper at the back here. So let's go into the journal itself. First thing I did when I started this was make sure that all of my pages were numbered. This is so that I could put together a functioning index. So as you can see, it's quite bare bones, but I had 3 categories. So I had candy, which is my startup, which is not surprising that it's the most filled out. It's something that I think about every weekday, if not every day. And then I have nook ends, which surprisingly is a small category. And then I have one for personal musings. So I just wanted to be able to look through, see the topic that I was journaling about, and then easily access that page. This is how my commonplacing looked. I would section different topics off. I would use red sometimes to notate things that I had to get done. This was my nook ends sticker test that I tried to do in my book. Just more work-related thoughts. And I pretty much fizzled out after page 5. I think the biggest contributor to this is I'm an extremely digital person. I live online. My job is online. My friends are online. Everything is online. I'm on my computer a lot. And so what is kind of similar to this is actually I have a personal Discord server called Sarah's Brain. Me and my partner are the only ones in it. And most of the channels are actually completely private to me. So I'll have channels for different things in my life. There are Nook Ends channels, there's Twitch streaming channels, there's house channels. There's a channel for every category in my brain. And I'll document it in there. I can easily send myself questions, things to remember, pictures, anything like that. And it's super easy. It's accessible on my computer. It's accessible on my phone, all of my devices. I think the huge thing is that it's also searchable. And so if ever I was thinking about XYZ, I can just search it and really easily access it. That's why I think it's just kind of infinitely better for me than this. I appreciate the act of writing, committing things to memory via the act of writing, but this was not a practice that I got stuck to, which is fine. I think it's totally fine. Again, I don't want to force myself to do anything. Journaling is very personal. So yeah, I'm probably going to retire at least the commonplacing part of this book. I really like the size of it. I really like pocket passport size journals, and so I'm thinking I will find a different use for it, but it will not be commonplacing. I'm not trying to force it, but so far I'm thinking I am lacking a place to do traditional art, even just doodles, stuff like that. So this might be a good book to do that in. We'll see. Okay, that was my passport traveler's notebook. Okay, let's move on to my last one. This is my standard traveler's notebook. This is something that I would pretty much never take with me. I know a lot of people travel with their traveler's notebooks, but this is way too big and clunky for me. I, again, really like to travel light, and so I often can't justify taking this with me. What I do have in here is junk journaling from trips that I've been on. So let's do a quick peek. I haven't used this too much, but for the stuff that I have used, it really sparks joy for me. So I got this at the Kyoto Travelers Factory flagship store, and so I was able to grab a bunch of stamps and put them right in the cover here. Here I started with a stationery junk journal spread. This was honestly so fun, and stationery often has the cutest packaging, and usually I just throw it out. And so it was really nice just to remember, you know, all the things that I bought. I remember I got things on sale. I remember the sticker sheets that I got, these stamps that I got, the stores that I went to. I don't know. And it just looks, I think, really cute. So I would love to do more of these when I do other stationery hauls. I also did another spread where I took all the backing of this washi tape that I got. These are all those 5mm ones that I mentioned, and preserve them kind of on this spread because each of them had such cute packaging. I wanted to just kind of remember what I bought. And then I did spreads from my trip to Asia. So this one is the Taiwan spread, full of food and postcards that I got and tickets and just other ephemera from stationery stores. I really love this as well. I know some people buy things to junk journal, but I really want to use like actual things that most people throw away. And so I really like these spreads. This was the one from Osaka. Very similar. I got some receipts and packaging from food that we got, packaging from stationery, washi tape. Yeah. My last one is the one from Kyoto, which is again very similar. Places that we visited, stores that we went to. Yeah, it's just so cute. It really brings back memories of my trip. If you haven't seen already, I have a video where I did these spreads. But yeah, I think this one will be a lot lower use for me. I think it's really when I have a good amount of ephemera or there's a trip that I want to commemorate via the ephemera that I got, I'll fill this out. But this is something that makes me really happy and I want to keep doing at least a few times a year. Okay, so these were my 4 journals of the year so far. I think I'm doing pretty well. I think main event is my hobonichi, and it's something that I'll definitely continue doing. I know that I want to retire my commonplace and just let it go, so that will be going away. But this junk journal standard I will definitely do when I have materials for it. And then my plotter is my day-to-day that will also continue throughout the year. One thing that I actually missed from 2024 is my personal rings. And so this is something that I actually made this cover out of a piece of leather. I also have photos in here to keep it personal. So something that I really liked actually about this one is how I did my day-to-day, and so maybe I will lean back more into this versus my plotter. I basically took this layout from the Hobonichi weeks, have a week on one side and then I have the right side for to-dos. So I might bring this back. Other thing that I really liked about what I was doing in here was I had this content to consume insert where anyone who recommended me content, shows to watch, books to read, movies, stuff like that, I'll note it down, and I'll also note down who actually recommended it to me so I can go back to them and talk to them about it after I watch or read the thing. This was really fun. I feel like I lose recs really easily. The other thing is this, so content reviews, and this is something I want to bring back because I feel like we've been watching some really good shows and some not so good shows, and I've been reading some good books. And so what I did last year was put a cover photo of the show, note down the title, what kind of show it was, and give it a star rating, and then do a little blurb review. And I actually really like looking back at this and remembering, oh yeah, that show was good. I really liked that. So I want to bring this back. And I'm kind of thinking I might do this digitally. There's an app that I used a long time ago called Paper, which I know is pretty popular, and so I might try seeing how I can do these reviews in digital form. So we'll see if I add that to my stack. That was my review of my journals so far. I'm pretty happy with how things are going. I think it's great to think about your processes and whether or not it's something you want to continue. Is it something you're forcing? Is it something that makes you happy? I hope it was helpful to sit down and see what I'm doing with my journals. Maybe it's something that you could pull into yours. Maybe you're feeling similarly about one of your journals and you want to retire it. It's totally fine. Again, journaling is so personal. What works for other people might not work for you. And so I think it's good every once in a while to evaluate, and it's a great time to do that because it's mid-year. It's June already, which is insane. I would love to hear how you're enjoying your journals this year. Tell me about it in the comments. Thank you again, as usual, for watching. We'll see you next time. Take care. Bye.